Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I'm going to do something today I've been planning to do for a couple weeks, and the weather just hasn't cooperated very well. As you know, every year I end up kind of replanting different parts of my yard because the really extreme Texas winters kind of pummel things. Now I've been trying to do better in protecting my plants during these cold storms, because I can technically put like plant blankets on them and protect them from the frost and the snow that we sometimes get here. But unfortunately that didn't work out this year because I was in California for my mom's funeral when we had the freeze come through Texas, and so I wasn't here to protect my plants, and basically everything got pummeled and needed to be basically replaced. So I've done a little bit of work on this. I replanted one part of my yard a couple weeks ago. I'll show you that right here. So everything I put in here is looking pretty good. These are the hydrangeas that I planted a couple weeks ago. They're still doing well and doing very well, and green and growing and doing well. These little colorful plants here are doing good that I've been put in here. Those two in the background, those survived the winter last year. These are two I put in, and I put two of them over here. Like I said, they're all doing really well, so I'm gonna let them do their thing. I kind of improvised a little sprinkler system out here because this corner of the yard never was really kind of designed to work this way. This was just part of the grass when I moved into the house, and I kind of built this planter up and decided I wanted this to kind of be an accent part of the yard, but the sprinkler system doesn't do very well, so I just kind of rigged this temporary thing, and it's doing a good job keeping everything watered. So this is one of the beds that we planted, like I said, a couple weeks ago, and it's doing well, but there's a couple others also that are going to need a little help. This is one of the other areas here that I kind of turned into a planter. It was originally kind of a planter here, but I kind of built these bricks up in here and built up the area a little bit, and I've tried planting a few times in here, and I don't know, lantana last year, they got pummeled. There's a couple of them that are coming back. That one's doing all right. That one's alive. That one's alive. But a lot of the rest of them didn't make it. And so at some point I'm going to have to revisit this in here and do some more in here. But this isn't where we're targeting today. Let me show you where we're going. This is the area that we're targeting today. This is in the front yard next to the porch, and you'll recall that last year I put a bunch of annuals in here, so they looked nice for the entire summer, but began to fade in the early fall and basically died out. So they all going to be pulled out. I don't know, I may keep this grass in here. Something's coming back there, but for the most part this whole area is going to be basically redone here. I don't know, I may leave the holly because it's coming back a little bit, but nothing in here is really that healthy at this point. So I want to do something in here, get this area looking really nice, because this is in front of the house. This is what the neighbors are going to see the most, and I'd like it to look really good in here. So this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to pull out all this old stuff. I'm going to get some more soil in here, raise up the soil level, because one of the things that always seems to happen is that the soil settles a little bit, and so I have to build it up every year. Now, one of the things that also held me off a little bit was this section here. I had something weird growing here, and I'm still not entirely sure what these are, but we're going to let them grow for a little while, see what they do, and even if we raise the soil a little bit, we're going to try and preserve these, and then, like I said, we're going to put something new in here and make this look really nice. So that's our task for today. Let's get going. So let's hook up the trailer and head to Home Depot. Alright, I'm back from Home Depot. I picked up about 10 bags of soil, but before I put that on the ground, I want to kind of get as much of the dead stuff out of here. So I've already actually kind of cleaned this up a little bit, blown a lot of stuff out into the lawn here. One of the things I run into is, because the pecan tree drops so many pecans in the fall, the squirrels kind of basically bury them, and so since there's so many of them, they can't bury them all. A lot of them just kind of end up falling here right beneath the pecan trees. So I I had to get all those out of here because if we cover them with soil, they'll start growing, and I'll have pecan trees growing all over the place in here. And I think the 3 I have is good enough. I've also kind of cleaned up these things here. When they kind of get hit in the winter, you know, all the grass kind of dies off, but the root ball underneath survives. So when the spring comes back, they start to bounce back. But if you don't cut off the ugly stuff, it just continues to get ugly. Now, I'm not sure about this one. This one we may give up on. This one doesn't look very good. That one's kind of cut down to the ground here. So, you know, it's coming back from at kind of a little point. And so maybe we'll let that one stay. But I don't know. I may end up pulling this one because even the stuff that is here isn't looking so good. So I don't know, looks like there's a little bit of growth down at the bottom. Maybe what I just need to do is cut off the top of this like I did with that one, and that can maybe bounce back. There's also a couple things here that I'm gonna let them you know, grow, and let's see what comes of them. And like I said, we're going to leave these holly bushes in here. We need to maybe put something into that pot too. I had some annuals in there a couple years ago, and they survived a couple years, but they didn't make it through this one. So maybe we'll find something pretty to put in there too. But like I said, I got everything cleaned up out of here. Next thing to do is to move the soil in here, get it spread around, and then we'll be ready to plant. All right, a little bit of time has gone by, and I have gotten all the soil in here, got everything cleaned up. Basically, I decided I was going to take those little whatever those were in there, and as I pulled them out, they just looked like some sort of nut that probably some squirrels had buried there, and they started growing. So I took all that out, covered that up. I was able to save this. I trimmed that back, so that looks nice. Same with that, same with that. Trim that back, trim that back. That's gonna survive. These are gonna survive, and these holly bushes here will do all right. So other than that, like I said, we have our soil in here. The 10 bags that I initially bought wasn't enough. I kind of figured that would be the case, but it only got me to about here before I ran out of soil. I had all this area to do over here. So I went back, got another 15 bags of soil, and got it all nice and filled in. Now, if anything, it's a little overflowing, and that's good, because hopefully now when it settles, it will settle to pretty much being level. But I think it looks pretty good right now, and I think the next step is to go get some plants to put in here. Now, when I was over at Home Depot getting the soil, I found some calla lilies they had, that they had a whole bunch of them, and they were very colorful, and they had different varieties. So they had yellow ones and orange ones and red ones and pink ones, and so I think I'm going to get a handful of those and maybe put them in the front. I think that'll give a real nice pop of color here, and then we'll go find something else. We may end up going to the nursery also and see what they have, but like I said, I think we're going to start with the Home Depot and those calla lilies. And when I was over there a little earlier, they were unloading a bunch of plants, so maybe they got a whole new shipment in. So we're going to see what they have. Going to pick up something nice for the yard, and then we'll get that stuff in the ground. Catch up with you in a little bit. So I just got back from the nursery, and actually I went to the nursery and to Home Depot because neither one of them had exactly what I wanted, but they all had something that they both had something that I did want. So I was really looking at these multicolored calla lilies here, and I thought they looked really pretty, and hopefully they'll do really well here. What I've been trying to do kind of started last year. I introduced a whole bunch of color into this area, and it really made the front of the house look nice. And so I'm kind of redoing that again, and tried to get a bunch of things that look like they're going to have a little personality and hopefully do well in this area. That's always the big challenge, is getting something that's not only going to do well but also look good. And you know, it's always a work in progress, because you never know whether any of these things will do well. But the way it works is something does well, and it, you know, gets to stay until next year, and if not, it gets replaced with something new, and that's how it goes. And so eventually we're going to find the right match of things that give me the color I want and the longevity that I want, and make this area look really nice. These are all perennials, so hopefully they'll come back year after year. I kind of like these things. They're big and they got a lot of personality, and hopefully they'll do really well. I also have this pot here, and so I got this to go into that pot, and then I'm going to actually set the pot here. The pot's been sitting on this part of the dirt right here for a long time, but actually I want to get it up off the ground a little bit. Originally the pot was put over here for this tree that I cut off, but the tree is actually starting to come back a little bit, even though the stump is dead. And but I couldn't put the pot on that anymore because I had a whole bunch of at the time I was trying to keep the tree alive and some of the branches alive. I decided just to focus on the one, but I put a bunch of lag bolts into the stump to hold everything up, and right now this is the only part that survived. But like I said, this used to be on top of that stump, but it got moved over here about a year ago, and I think this will be the best place for that. But that's going to add a little bit of color too, huh? Actually look real nice right here along with everything else. So next job now is to get this stuff all on the ground, and I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. Okay, a little time has passed by. We got everything in the ground, and I'm giving it just a nice little water right now. I did put this thing in the pot, and I think that's going to look really nice. That should really add to the yard a little bit. And like I said, a few of these things were from previous years, but for the most part, this whole yard is brand new. This whole little section here. So we're gonna leave this watering thing on here for a little while, give everything a nice good drink. But I think it's gonna look really nice here. Hopefully, this stuff should all be perennials. So if I can keep it alive through the winter, it should bounce back next year. So hopefully this will continue to look good. I think the plants all have a nice start right now. I intentionally, a couple of the plants were a little banged up a bit, but what I ended up doing is putting them in the back so that the really colorful stuff is right here in the front, and I think it looks really nice. And as a matter of fact, I've already had a neighbor come by and says it looks real nice, so it's always nice to hear that feedback. So anyway, I think this part of our spring planting has completed. I'm going to wrap up this video for now by saying thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.